Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hacker Stacker channel. A while back, I did this video on why you should always have hard cash as part of your stack. Now, this is not to be used to buy more precious metals. It's to tide you over during an event that may require you having these funds available on short order. But this begs the question, how much cash should one have on hand? I'm not here to give you a hard number because everybody's lives are different. Their expenses are different, their incomes are different, their financial obligations are different. So simply offering a single number saying you should have X number of dollars is totally meaningless. Folks, I appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos, so be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell to get notifications on new content, because it's only your support this channel will continue to grow. Keep in mind, this cash is not to be used to buy more precious metals. It's to tide you over an event where you may not have access to the funds you have in the bank. Let me give you an example. Back in 2020, when the COOF took over, I went to lunch at a nearby restaurant from work. On the door was a sign stating their card machine was offline and they would only accept cash. No problem for me because I always carry some cash. And on the way home from work, I stopped at a gas station to fill up my truck. A sign on the pump said, "No pay at the pump. Please prepay inside with cash only." The next day, I found out that these were not one-of occurrences. It seems the entire card processing system was offline, and it took another 2 days for it to get back up and running. And while most of the other people were scrambling to adjust to not being able to use their debit or credit cards to make routine everyday purchases, I just pulled out some cash out of my stack and used it to pay for what I needed and kept on going down the road. Once things were back to normal, I replaced the cash that I'd taken out of my stack and brought it back to its previous level. So, how much cash should you have? Answering this will take a bit of time and thought on your part, but don't worry, it's not that difficult. The first step is to make a list of all the purchases you may make on a day-by-day basis. For example, buying groceries, putting gas in your car, paying your babysitter. This list should not include your monthly expenses like rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, and the like. Only include the cost of items you buy a few times a week. A good way to think of this is how much would it cost to fill the tanks of all your vehicles, assuming they're all down to a quarter of a tank? How much would a trip to the grocery store be if you had to buy enough food to feed yourself and your family for the coming week? Be sure to include all your expenses, your routine expenses, on this list. Whether or not you include items that might be considered luxuries is up to you. Things like eating out or going to the movie and the like. I'll suggest the dollar amounts you attach to each of these items be sufficient to get you through 1 week of expenditures at a minimum. This is the number of dollars I recommend you have on hand as part of your stack. It will be up to you to decide if 1 week is sufficient, if you feel you need 2 weeks or a month or 3 months or even more. That is totally your choice. But a week is what I advise for a minimum. I realize some of you may be surprised at the amount you calculate, but don't worry, I'm not saying you have to have that much cash now. It's a goal. Put a little bit away every payday, and eventually you'll have that scratch available. Once you have this cash set back, don't be afraid to add to it once in a while. Maybe you sold something on Facebook Marketplace, or you did a little overtime at work, or you have a little side gig where you're making a little extra income. But adding to that stash of cash on occasion is always a step forward. Not only it improves your financial situation just a little bit and be better prepared for the bumps in the road of life, but it also accounts for the inevitable inflation that will increase the prices of the items that is on your aforementioned list. So if you don't have any cash set aside as part of your stack, now is the time to make that list, assign a reasonable dollar amount to it, and start putting away cash so that you will be prepared for when life throws you a curveball. In the meantime, stack what you like what you stack, keep on stacking, and I'll see you in the next video.